So, once again, welcome to another episode of Straight No Chaser, the podcast, where we talk about everything from politics to music to everything else. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, email us, talk to us. We want to hear all about that. And yeah, you can find us at Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just everywhere that you find podcasts. We're out there. Straight No Chaser, the podcast. Please keep listening. So on that note, speaking of keeping listening, we got to get into, oh yeah, y'all want to introduce yourselves? Go for it, KG.
What up? You see the shirt? That's what I feel. That's right.
I'm Rasheem Rook, Straight No Chaser.
I think we need to get them t-shirts.
I keep coming with a different t-shirt. Yeah. Let's go.
What's going on? It's your boy Ox. Let's get it.
I mean, okay, so we might as well jump off with the, I guess, number one thing going on right now. For the third week in a row, Megan Thee Stallion.
That's not number one.
Huh?
It's not the number one thing. We lead off with that, but that ain't the number one thing that people talk about right now.
Right. And I don't even know if it's the third week in a row, but
it's the third week in a row. Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, we're going back into it. People are pissed because Tory Lanez is alleged to have sent a text message to Megan Thee Stallion in the aftermath of allegedly shooting her in the foot. And in this text message, he says that he's sorry for something. He got too drunk. He doesn't exactly say what he did, but you know, that's kind of what it is. So the internet is pissed off. Everybody's still mad. Do y'all have any further thoughts about this whole situation other than Tory Lanez is a bum?
I'm mad. I'm mad too. I'm pissed. Like that's. Let me roll it back to the beginning. You shot this sister.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cared until she boo-hooed on her live. And I'm trying to figure out why no one cares that arguably the most popular rap artist in the game right now was shot. So we go through the whole, I said arguably. So we go through this whole rigmarole. We get to a point where people's is like, well, no one's heard from Tory. People heard from his camp. Mm-hmm. And then they heard from Tory, and Tory was saying some BS about how, what was his comment? About how his spins haven't dropped. His streaming hasn't dropped. That he said something about that before he said anything about what happened to Megan. And then now he's not even saying anything publicly. He's shooting her a text talking about, yeah, my bad, I was drunk.
But this is immediate. This allegedly happened like 10, 15 hours after
he did
the
that
event.
The night up, the night up, the day up.
Right. Okay. So it's not like weeks and weeks later, it's the night up.
Let me revamp that. Still pissed, still upset. You have made no statements about this whatsoever. You talking more about your popularity and your notoriety and whether or not your streaming has dropped. And you want to make sure that people know that you're still in the game and you're still relevant. But you shot somebody. So
because you was too drunk.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not because you was drunk. Man, shut up. I don't want to hear that. I was drunk. Well, being drunk is going to excuse you from doing all types of foul stuff because I was drunk. They always say they used to say a drunk mouth speaks a sober mind. So whatever you do when you drunk is pretty much what you wanted to do.
I don't really know how to feel about this because I hope the internet don't kill me on this. I really don't.
Yes.
Nah, in all seriousness, I'm not gonna say I don't care about it, but I'm numb to it. There's been so much going on this summer. She's still here, right? Albeit she's been shot. I hurt for her that she experienced that. But there are plenty of people who ain't here. You know, I think about Breonna Taylor, I think about George Floyd, I think about Ahmaud Arbery. We just had an anniversary for the brother that was killed in his apartment. I hurt because of that. And the fact that we're still kind of in that same situation. That's a domestic situation to me. I view it as such. We just happen to be privy to it because they're famous. But in the grand scheme of things, that's big money problems or bigger money problems than what, you know, any of us are kind of experiencing. That's not necessarily a life problem, you know, or it's a relationship issue. A lot of people are in domestic violence situations. We deal with that at work a couple of times. But most jobs have people that are involved in that, and sometimes it trickles over to the workplace. And at work, it don't stop moving. You provide a safety plan for people, or people have a safety plan in place, but the world keep going. I feel like there are bigger things happening around the world besides that. So I'm kind of numb to it. Not that I'm minimizing it. It just doesn't rank very high on my level of priorities to give a fuck about it.
Understandable, you know.
No, I think the crazy thing about it is though, like I think Rod touched on it. Like a woman got shot, and everybody's joking, laughing, ha ha, sending out emojis, making gifts, whatever. And it took until she really cried and showed the scar, the bullet wound or whatever it was in her foot for people to be like, oh shit, you really got shot. My bad, I'm sorry. Like she's gonna make this up. Like somebody who is, to quote Ra, arguably one of the most popular female rappers right now, to make up some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it took for her to cry for people to really be like, damn. And then, you know, Tory on his part, it's like, you wait, I don't know how many weeks it's been now, before you come out, and the thing you could come out with and say is, yo, my bad, I was drunk. Like, that's crazy to me. But it shows, you know, not to dwell back on past episodes, but it shows how society is portraying our Black women. Like, all right, you got shot. Next. You know, that's how it seems. That's how I feel. That's how I took it. That's how it seems like. All right, you got shot. Next, you a rapper, get over it. And then the amount of people that was coming out saying, oh, if you told on Tory, you snitching and all this other next stuff, you just into it, yo. So it's just crazy the way society is right now.
Yeah, if you get into that portion of it, like you asked, I'll be tired of it.
Yeah.
You didn't answer the question. The question is, are you tired of it? Right? Not necessarily the nuances of the situation. If you get into the nuances of the situation, then yeah, all of those things that you said are true.
But see, all right, so I'll feel you on that question. So if we're going on the aspect of am I tired of it, I can never say I'm tired of it because shit like this goes on a daily basis. So for me, phrasing it how you asking it, I can never be tired of it because somebody, God forbid, is going to get shot tomorrow. Some sister going to get fucked up next week. So I think for me, if I put it in the sense of, yo, I'm tired of hearing that, it's like I'm going to be turning my back on all future episodes that may happen. So I can never say I'm tired of it.
Can I hop in here? My thing.
Audio's a little. You sound a little low, Rob.
All right.
It was me.
So what I'm thinking about is the audio still down?
Yeah, you still sound far, Rob. I mean, we can hear you, but you sound like you distant.
Yeah, you sound a little far away. While you fixing that, I'll say, you know, for Neil, I'm not downplaying domestic violence. You're right. People get shot. What I'm saying is that impacts everybody,
right,
regardless of race, religion, affiliation whatsoever.
Right.
The things that impact us as a Black people, those are very specific things. This does not fall, in my opinion, in that category or that tier of emotion, in my emotional space, that bypasses the unarmed killing and murdering of Black people. We're going to get to this later, but even, you know, they want to sample this vaccine on folks, and we'll get into. I know we got that as a topic, but I think about all of those types of things, or the dynamics. You know, we have somebody that my wife is really close with. She passed away from COVID. Like all of those types of things are much, in my opinion, for Keltric.
I got you.
It trumps her experience, because again, it's a domestic violence thing, and I'm not minimizing it. I'm just putting it in a hierarchy of what's important right now. And to me,
Right.
that's not up there.
Go ahead, John.
Can y'all?
I mean,
You good now, Rock? You good? Go ahead, John.
yeah. I mean, this is where one of those blind spots, as the internet loves to say, because we don't have a woman here to kind of give their opinion. And I would say that the women would be like, you know, domestic violence is a very important thing, and it's not outrated by COVID or whatever. I agree with you, Keltric. I'm just merely saying that we are probably in the minority on the internet. And I guess that's the best way for me to say that part. So sucks that she got shot. Yes, everybody was making jokes because that's kind of the internet culture. I'm sure people was making jokes about Chadwick Boseman before they knew what was going on with him. That's unfortunately the culture. That's the way that people interact on the internet. Whether it's foul or not, that's simply the way that it is. That said, shouldn't be that way, but it is. So,
but here, I think it is just as serious. I think it's just as serious, and I'm not tired of it. And the reason why I think it's just as serious is because we almost downplaying, we're almost downplaying what the ultimate effect of a gunshot is. Like the ultimate effect of a gunshot is death. It almost don't matter where you get shot nowadays. And that type of violence can be lumped up in domestic violence, but it's still, it's violence against women, it's violence against Black people. And it's almost like we get caught up in the unarmed killings, and then we, not us on this, but we almost excuse when we are doing stuff to ourselves. I remember when years ago, so this is the start of the NFL season, I know a lot of people aren't watching football, but I remember when Sean Taylor had the home invasion, and he was at his home in Florida, and they shot him. They shot him in the leg. You think, he got shot in his leg, but it hit the artery that couldn't be. I mean, the dude bled out, and he died. Like when you start talking about gunplay, that's not a, like, dude pulling out a gun like this is a television show. Like the moment you pull a gun out, you are preparing to take someone's life, whether you do it or not. Is something completely different. You should aim your gun at anything you don't intend to kill or destroy. It's as simple as that. And the brother's going to be doing it. And a lot of our people are taking it like it's a light thing. That's not a light thing. Like that could have been a murder. And then what would have been the discussion in the community? You know what I'm saying? If she died.
Yeah.
Why didn't we protect Megan?
Hold on for a second, bro. I hear you, but that didn't happen. It could have, to your point.
Yeah.
It didn't. We deal with the end result of things, not what could be. Right? So that's the way we're built. You on the program. So
that's all right.
It is all right. But we deal with things that occur. Like, we're not in hypotheticals. Like, in the reality of it is, again, I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying that what happened to her isn't bad. Mm-hmm. It's horrific. He should be held to the highest end of the law. He should be held. She felt that way in attempted murder. I mean, to your point, if he had her with she got shot, she could have died from that for sure. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, people are dying, have been dying. Continue to die. Right. So I hate when we gotta kind of pick and choose like what's important and what's not important. But again, for my personal emotional space,
right,
that does not meet the threshold for me to be like, man, Megan Thee Stallion, that's so messed. Like I'm not at the front of that line. I'm not.
And I think like you said, for you, and when you say we pick and choose, you pick and choose.
That does not reach a level of importance for Keltric to say.
You, right. And clearly you are emblematic of other people. You do not sit alone in that. Like you're not solitary. There are going to be other folks who feel the same way, who think the same way, and that's cool. And I'm not saying that it isn't. That's cool. What I do want to the point I want to press is that we don't have to deal with things after they happen. And we can address things as they're happening and make them examples so that other people think twice when they're put in that position for that to potentially happen again. Like if we address this in a manner when another brother's in a car with a sister or in front of a sister or pulls out or has a gun in the presence of the sister, like if we address the issue, not because it's Megan and Tory, but if we just address the issue like, nah, dude, we not having it. Like you do that, you can't come here. You can't come around us. You can't be around us. You better go back to Canada. They better deport you to Canada, because if I see you on the like, if we address it in certain terms, then maybe other brothers will start to look at it differently. Like, nah, my community ain't having it, so maybe I need to think twice on how I address these sisters, or even how I think address these brothers, because we shooting at each other. Like,
I feel like that goes without saying to some extent. Maybe not in all circles.
Say again?
I feel like the checking, you talking about somebody getting checked.
I'm not just talking about personal, individual, you in my circle and you check me. I'm talking about also a communal response. Yes, there is the individual, my peers check me, and then there's a communal response. You did that, you dead to us.
Well, she getting that mostly from her hometown.
Say again?
I said she's getting that mostly from her hometown, who I think they're looking at it as a form, in my opinion, it's feeling more of a form of disrespect, not a form of violence.
As a matter of fact, John, you're the perfect person to ask, is you from the H-Town. In your opinion, do you think Tory could ever show face in any part of Texas?
I mean,
Texas,
we can't come to Houston at this point because people is really upset and pissed off about this shit. I mean, when it first happened, everybody was making jokes, everybody. But as things developed, and yes, her actually coming out did change things, because before that, it was just all conjecture, allegation. We don't know what's going on. We think we know, but we don't really know, blah, blah, blah. But when she came out with the video and said, this is what happened, that kind of changed people's opinion. And it is a disrespectful kind of thing. I don't know why people feel this way, but, people adopt a city and act like, you got to stand for the whole entire city. So it would not shock me if Tory Lanez was foolish enough to come to Houston for some idiot to really pop some shots at that fool on some, I'm putting the city on my back, clout chasing, idiotic. I mean, violence begets violence, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
It's kind of like the whole, when Biggie went to California, to some extent. I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, but,
it's crazy.
Pac was riding for West Side, like the West Coast, real hard. And people were shocked when he went to the West Coast. Like, that's a good look for you, brother. And ultimately, he was killed, as kind of to your point, Ron, in terms of from a violence, gun violence. But in the Black community, guns are not. We've been so traumatized by guns that it's inconsequential almost. Like, you see people with guns, you're like, well, let's do with the gun. Like, has anybody ever had a gun put on them besides me on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, what was your reaction? I mean, I actually kind of chuckled, like, okay, this is different.
No, I was younger. I didn't chuckle.
I was in middle school.
I was very concerned at that time.
Well, I knew the dude. I knew the dude who pulled the gun on me. That's what was crazy.
Oh, that's different.
He really tried to steal. We had a triple fat goose back in Gary. That was like a big deal, like a starter jacket almost. I had a 49ers triple fat goose, and this dude pulled. It's like a 20. I feel like it was a 22. I just remember he put it on my chest and like, give me your coat. And I remember saying to the dude, we was walking back from middle school. I said, if you want this coat, it's gonna have a hole in it. And he just said, good shit, homie, good shit. And started laughing and walked off. I was like, yo, this dude's wild. It's crazy.
Mm-mm.
It's just one of them things, you either got it or you don't. I was walking from, in 2000, I was walking from Carver through the projects, and dude pulled out on me. And he was like, give me what you got. I had nothing. I was like, I literally had no money, sir. So, I don't know what you gonna do. And he patted me down and he realized I wasn't lying. And he was like, let me go ahead and keep walking. And I was like, all right, because I literally had no money.
Yo, I remember that.
Look at us right here. We're laughing at this.
Yeah.
We're laughing at this. And that's my point in terms of why I don't have the emotional space for her situation.
Yeah.
It doesn't ring as something, and we got to figure that out. Like I need to figure that out, right? Because it's not like that was terrible that happened to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we chuckling about it because you got rabbit ears. Like, hey man, you got the wrong one. I ain't got nothing for you.
I mean, it's been 20 years.
Right. But I'm thinking more so of a collective response similar to what you see with the Not Effing Around coalition.
Right.
Wasn't no one laughing when they got together in Louisville? No one was laughing when they was marching through Stone Mountain.
Hell nah.
Like when you get a collective of brothers, whether armed or unarmed, who come together in a defensive posture and be like, I dare you. There's gonna be a different response. And on top of that, the brothers gotta be prepared to respond to someone who actually checks that dare.
Right.
So they gotta have the right mindset.
But there's a video on social media. It was in Atlanta, actually. I guess it was over the weekend, where the dude is out front of an establishment with a gun, and people just recording this. Like literally, people on their phone like recording this dude with this gun, and he's pointing it at something. The person, whoever he is, or the group he's pointing at, they're off screen. Then all of a sudden, you hear people shooting. His homeboy, they go behind the car. It's like a shootout. Literally a shootout is on video. And I'm thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. The dude has no mask on. Not like you can't conceal your identity. Like I think it's ridiculous that people behave in this way sometimes, man. Like it's unfathomable to me.
Now I think the part that gets me, we've all made some good points. Society's become almost desensitized to the crazy thing, but the thing that stands out for me with all this, and we don't want to talk about this forever, but despite all this, I think everybody was just waiting for Tory's response. And the only thing he came out with was, my bad, I was drunk. You know what I mean? It's like, that's all that you can say? Like, I don't know you. I'm not expecting, it didn't happen to me or anybody I know, but that's the best you could come out with after, 3-4 weeks. My bad, I was drunk.
Did he say that, or did somebody report that he said that?
TMZ reported that there was a text message sent from Tory Lanez to Megan Thee Stallion saying, he didn't say that I did anything. He was like, I'm apologizing for my behavior. I was too drunk. I was wilding out, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't say that he shot anybody. He didn't say he did anything.
And what I saw, the clip that I saw, it wasn't even all that. It was more like, my bad, I was drunk.
Right.
I haven't seen anything. I mean, I don't know again, I'm not defending him at all, but you kind of negate everything you say that right there when you say the but. What do you expect him to say? What do you expect him to say?
I actually don't expect him to say a damn thing, because whatever you say is admissible in court. So I really don't expect him to say a damn thing, quite honestly. But I also don't expect that when he does come publicly, it's on some self-serving a BS to be like, I'm still hot in the streets and I got streams. I think you just keep your mouth shut.
You expect him to be rational in this situation and be like, and be quiet?
He got a dumb lawyer.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. He's had weeks. He is developing some kind of story, because he's got to say some kind of logical explanation for why things happen the way that they happen.
Your Honor, he's facing an assault charge with a deadly weapon, and he's more concerned about his popularity. I could see that playing in court. I could see a jury being like,
Depends on the lawyer. Depends on the lawyer.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do get probation.
You say you wouldn't be surprised if he got probation, Cage?
Yep.
Okay, you're a little delayed too now.
No, I'm chilling.
Okay, you are now. It was delayed for a split second on my end.
Now John was frozen for a second, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got probation, because she's not going to be protected by the courts. If she was white, I would say his charge would be a little elevated. But that's why the streets protect the streets. And if he come to Houston or someplace where she's affiliated, he gonna be in trouble.
Well, speaking of the streets protecting the streets, I guess we got to talk about Xavier, my bad, Xavier University and Dillard, who are experiencing kind of a moment here. Neil, you got to talk about it because I'm not totally up on this.
No, the thing, it was just shocking. The presidents of Xavier and Dillard sent out a letter to their students encouraging them,
Joint letter.
encouraging them to take the COVID vaccination and stating that they already took it themselves and it would behoove them to, take it and make a good statement towards the world for, trying to find a cure for the whole situation. And a lot of students are like, hell no, we're not taking this vaccine. We're not being experimented on. So it's a big thing right now. I'm kind of shocked that the president of a university would encourage his students to take this vaccine, but I don't know. What do you think?
It's not a vaccine that is clinical trial. So they would be giving some people the vaccine and some people the placebo.
Right.
It's supposed to be like a 2-year type of process.
What'd you say, John? Go ahead.
Because earlier we talked about this whole thing and y'all was like, if there's a vaccine, I would take it. Y'all remember this conversation?
I said I wouldn't.
I said I would wait
first.
Yep, I'd wait that first go round,
Uh-huh.
and then I'd go on out there and take the vaccine.
Yes.
I'm
After
not
like what, a year, months?
I need to see what's happening in the population. I need to see if people are taking it and their spines are exploding. Like AstraZeneca had to stop. They had to just stop their trials because someone got ill. Like I need to see if that's happening. I'm not surprised that presidents of a university and a college, especially Xavier, being known for its pharmaceutical program and its pre-med program, I'm not surprised that they would say take part in the trial, because as the presidents of those institutions, they are going to come down on the side of science. They're not going to come down on the side of this may be Tuskegee experiment all over again. They're not going to do that. They have risen to a certain level in academia, and academia will say, trust the science, trust the process, trust the protocol, go on out there and do it. The only thing one of the things I don't like about it is they're all unproven. That's why they're in trials. And if you get the placebo, like they give you the vaccine or the placebo, and then they let you go out into the world to see if you contract the disease or not. So if I got the placebo, I'm out here now mixing and mingling with folks who potentially got COVID. What happens if I do come down with COVID?
Right. Right. Because I think they were saying something another, like if you do take the pretrial or the placebo, like you said, you'd be under watch for 26 months. I'm like, okay, to your point, I'm still out here mingling with the rest of the world. So what happens then? Or what happens to whoever I come in contact with that may have COVID? So I don't know.
Yeah, you got a young sister who's, I think like 32, 33, 34 years old, South Carolina, Demetria Bannister, a teacher. She just died. Was diagnosed with it. Sometime later, quickly gone. You know what I'm saying? So young people are getting this stuff, and I'm not with that. Let me test this out on you. And a double-edged sword is because genetically we are all different. Black folk are different than white folk, who are different than Latinos and Asians and Southeast Asians. Like we're genetically different, and they need. And that's the double-edged sword. They need a population of us to see if it works in us just like it works in everyone else. So if a whole bunch of white people take it and it works for the white people, that ain't no guarantee it's gonna work for us either. So they're at a point where they're saying they need to even double their trial in terms of black folk, the number of people who are partaking in it, just to see if they got something that'll work.
Listen, if there were more black doctors who were involved in this type of research, involved in this type of implementation, you would probably see a lot more trust between the black community and the medical community. There was just an article that came out this past week about North Carolina and how they essentially neutered. That's not even a phrase for humans, but they essentially took out the reproductive organs, or they treated or sterilized.
Castrated.
Well, they didn't. I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but
It's the same thing.
They did it for, I think, a period of a number of years in North Carolina. Systematically did it to Black people, and the people that were impacted got $20,000. Thought it was peanuts. Look it up. It's a crazy article when you think about the things that are still happening. And a really good friend of mine was like, "Yo, we're at war. Like, we are literally at war, and we don't even know it." Like, when those articles and things like that, those studies, those, like, you even saw the documentary Miss Leaks, Loretta Leaks, what's her name? Henrietta Leaks.
Yeah, the sister up in Baltimore with Johns Hopkins.
Ridiculous. Still ain't got no financial, nothing in her family around that, what they did to this woman's body and her anatomy. Like, it's just, we are being pimped in various ways. And I don't even know at this point if I feel like it's a Black thing, but I don't know, it may be an economic thing too.
But you know what though, I'd even pose another question, and I don't know. I think it all comes down to trust. Because even if we go with your theory, Keltric, of more African-American doctors and researchers had, played a part in trying to find a cure, how many people are really, quote unquote, and I don't want to cheapen the word, but how many people are really trying to be guinea pigs for the first go around? Let's say it was a viable cure. Let's say we were the doctors, and we know 100% wholeheartedly that this is the cure. I still think.
That doesn't make sense.
No, but I'm still thinking the first person or the first group of people or whatever to take the test are going to be somewhat apprehensive. I don't want to be the first.
No, I think some people would do it. I think the issue with the ones in Xavier and Dillard is the fact that these are still children.
No, I'm going beyond Xavier and Dillard. I'm really talking about just in general.
I'm going back to reality. I'm saying the thing that's weird there is the fact that they did not involve these kids' parents. They sent a letter to students. This is a lifetime decision that they are going to be involved in. They should probably get some consultation from their parents. So somebody's like, man, wait a minute, what's this all about? Now, the person running the clinical trials, she came out and had a conversation and was like, there are rules that have been put in place that prevent this from happening. In my mind, I'm like, that didn't sound very convincing. I wouldn't sign up for it. And even in your example, your hypothetical, there's going to be people going to be apprehensive, and going to be people that jump to it because they want to get on with their life. So there's always going to be a dichotomy between somebody who's going to be like, nah. Some people are going to be like, yeah, I'll do it. So how much I'm going to get paid?
Yeah, and that's the truth. You bring up that whole kids thing, and that's the interesting piece, because once they hit 18 and they're on a college campus, they're adults.
Everybody in 18 though.
I know. I'm because you got some people who might be 16 on that college campus, some might be 17 turning 18, and that's where it kind of tilts. But those numbers are really, 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 really small when you think about the larger population on campus. And they're trying to cast this wide net, but I think even then they still should have included some communication to parents, because the colleges lean on this. They're 18. I don't got to share nothing with the parent unless they sign a waiver that allows me to share information with them. If the student don't sign a FERPA waiver, then they don't have to share nothing with the parent at all, period. Parent could be like, well, I paid their tuition. They were like, thank you, we appreciate the money, but have your child sign a waiver. Until then, I can't talk to you about nothing. So they kind of walk that fine line, and I think they should have walked it better. Like, if you're going to communicate directly to the students about something as serious as this vaccination trial, then you need to send out something, email, smoke signal, something. Let the parents know, because my child go there and be like, yeah, I got the vaccination, and then 6 months later, oh, I got COVID because I was given a placebo. And then she bring it home to her grandmama, and then her grandmama die. I think there's too many threads to that, man.
Right. I ain't taking it, period. I don't give a damn. So
Well, like I said, I'm gonna let that first go around go through. Maybe even a second. If people aren't getting sick and vomiting up their guts.
Apple iPhone, you got to wait till version 2.0, 3.0,
Right.
6.0 come out before you buy that thing.
Right.
I'll wait. I ain't going nowhere. Speaking of people trying to do the right thing and properly roll out information, we got to talk about y'all's boy Trump. So apparently, he said back in like February or March that he was downplaying the, what is the word I'm looking for? Killer effectiveness.
In February, he said he knew that it wasn't a regular flu. He knew it was 5 times more dangerous than average flu. He knew the average flu killed so many people, 25, 32,000 people a year. And this is 5 times more dangerous. He knew that in February before the people who knew it was 5 times more dangerous. No, my fault. He also said he knew that it was airborne. And he said that before mainstream people knew that. So someone told him.
The Surgeon General was telling people you don't have to wear a mask. The Surgeon General of the United States came out and told everybody you don't need to wear a mask. It's stupid to wear a mask.
And he knew it was airborne. That's February. In March, he came back around with another. They had 19 interviews in total. The one in March, that's when he was like, yeah, I downplay it. I like to downplay it because I don't want there to be chaos.
Don't forget about the part with the minors, with the young people. He talked about that too.
I didn't see that one.
They can be impacted by it. And
when he was like, oh yeah, and the young kids and the young people, oh yeah, this is bad for young people. Like he knew how bad this thing was. And like a dummy, he's on record, not written, like audio. You hear, he's stupid.
He is definitely an amateur, to say the least, at least as far as politics goes, but maybe as...
No, how can you say he's an amateur?
He's definitely an amateur politician.
He's an amateur for politics. Yes, he is.
Oh, no doubt. No, to be taped like that over and over and over repeatedly, he's just simply an amateur and not that intelligent.
What's the impact
in that regard?
But he's not playing politics. He's just being himself, and a bunch of people are gravitating towards it. That doesn't make him an expert at politics. He can't play politics. He could just be him. But he's not a politician. He don't know how to do it. He knows how to lie.
He's a gangster.
I could see that.
Listen,
we have
put their homeboys in. They put their homeboys up on game. They get them paid. If they go down, don't snitch on me. I'll take care of you. Like he a G.
He is getting. He got Roger Stone off already. I think he got him out of prison already. Yep. He letting Cohen's ass stay in there because Cohen flipped and went fed or whatever. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna let you stay there. But everybody else that sticks with the team, I'm gonna get y'all out.
I mean, as soon as his president, he's gonna be the first president we've seen in history that's gonna go to jail. I think.
I would love to place a little wage on that one too, sir.
I'm down. I'll put some money on that. You don't think so, Neil?
That he's going to go to jail or that he won't go to jail?
Will.
Yeah, I think he will.
They can't prosecute him right now. If he loses, if he wins the next election, I don't think he's going to go to jail.
Right, but if he loses,
he is definitely going to be tried and go to jail.
Do y'all know? I mean, just the other day,
he will now be pardoned
by whoever comes next.
Correct.
Definitely not if it's a Democrat. Maybe if it's a Republican, like 4 years from now.
But he's got some good old boys in office that can be able to pull some strings, though. I'm sure he does.
If he doesn't get charged by the feds, like the U.S. government, he's going to get tried in New York for sure. New York is coming.
I personally think they already have the indictment. I think they have a sealed indictment.
Yeah.
I think as soon as he steps off Air Force One or whatever they fly him out on, they're gonna be able to they're gonna go to Florida because he changed his residency. He's no longer a New York resident. They're gonna hit him up in Florida, sir. Come on back to New York. We have to have a couple meetings. I think that it's going to be. It's not one of those situations where like Nixon didn't go to jail because he did the right thing. He stepped away. This guy.
But you know what? See, y'all
well.
are the what I call the political experts. But I'm just bringing it to the straight. I'm just bringing it to the straight grimiest thing though. Trump has to know that he's an asshole and a moron. He has to know this. He has to realize that he's hated. But for some reason, I also believe he's like, yo, if I don't win this presidency again, I got to put some things in order because people have a red target on my back. So that's why I'm thinking it's like, I think he could get arrested, but I also think he may be playing chess and he already figures this out. And he's already trying to grease somebody's pockets or got some people in the corner just like, yo, if you take care of this for me, I'll promise you X, Y, and Z. Because that's the type of person he is. So that's why I'm thinking like he's already probably thinking like, I know America wants to get me. So if I win, I'm free. If I don't win, I got to have some strategies already in place so that I don't look embarrassed. Because that's Trump. He always wants to get the last laugh and tweet about it like, aha, thought you got me, but you didn't.
Wait,
you know,
so you don't think he's going to jail?
I'm on the fence. Like, I think they want to get him, but I think as much as I hate to admit it, I think he's probably thinking 2 steps ahead, like, you're coming after me. Let me try to line up something. What'd you say, Keltric?
Pick a side. It's okay. We ain't gonna lose no money.
I want to see him go to jail. I'll answer it like that. But I really do. It's crazy that I even say it like this. I think he's smart enough to realize, yo, people are coming for me, and to put some strategies in play. Yes, Keltric.
You do realize you just said the dude got recorded flip-flopping about the COVID seriousness. He does not care about it. He's also been recorded withholding funds, like quid pro quo. You familiar with that?
Yeah. Neil is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No. I thought he was saying in general. Okay. Yeah, I remember. I got you.
So, you know, this dude he's an animal. He is Suge Knight in the White House.
He has always had enough people around him to take any bullet that was fired at him. Those people have fallen off. Those people have gone to jail. Those people have written books. He's still got a crew around him, but now he's been put under the magnifying glass so much that, and there has been so much research done on like connecting the dots, and no one's really talked about his finances yet. Like the courts have already passed down how that stuff, like they can't keep that from the investigations. So like they're connecting the dots.
Yeah, already has it. It hasn't been released yet.
So what happens is once he's no longer president, like there's no one who can help him. Like he can't go to the district attorney in New York and be like, let me grease your pockets. He can't do that.
Wait a minute, because he literally said to the Justice Department, I want y'all to come in and be my defendants or defending lawyers, whatever that is. Yeah. But like the logic behind it is they're saying he is the president. He is acting as the president. Everything he does, right, we are going to defend that. Y'all talking about he gonna get arrested. It wouldn't surprise me if he took whoever the district attorney is for New York and was like, whatever that woman's name is, she's a black woman.
Yeah,
what's her name?
Letitia something or other, black woman from Howard.
And she is, it wouldn't surprise me if he was like, you know what, she's out, and put somebody else in there. Because he can do all those types of things.
He can do that. It will look so bad on him. He's savvy enough to know that he can only do so much. If he is so overt, I think it erodes his credibility and the ability for other people who can defend him. It prevents it from doing so. I.e., the Mitch McConnells and those type of folks, they can't defend like what's overt.
And it's not the state, it's not the Justice Department. It's Barr. It's Barr.
Who is a bum.
Now what happens is, we're talking, this is hypothetical if Trump is no longer in office, if he doesn't get elected. If Trump isn't elected, Barr can't do nothing. He's not gonna have a job, which is why he's grasping at straws. So I have no concern, and I don't think the people underneath him, the rank and file are so they're so just disgusted with everything that's going on. Man, as soon as that, I think that's why he's trying to get the second term, so that he doesn't face anything crazy. He'll either, die in office, or he'll try to get a third term after a second term. He will try. He will try. He will do whatever he has to do with Congress. He'll push whatever agenda he needs to push so that his little Trumpettes will come to his side, and he will try to get a third term. He wants to be a dictator.
This is going to be one of the most interesting presidential elections. I mean, Barack's first election took the cake. There's nothing that's going to top that for me. But this one is like, I'm really fascinated. I think he's going to get reelected. I hope I'm wrong, but we've had this discussion. If y'all think you're going to get arrested, you would definitely trip.
Do you think if he wins, there'll be a civil war?
No. No. There might be some sporadic individual so-called lone wolf or very small cell terrorist acts where some, true believer type idiot just runs a U-Haul truck full of gas into a mosque somewhere, that one person. But if you think there's going to be a wave or a spread of people spazzing out and, attacking army bases or something like that with a Walmart shotgun, that ain't happening.
I feel like we going in a really, the world, the American culture, the dream of this whole idea of America, it is being stepped on, crapped on, pissed on, ripped up before our very eyes. So
that wasn't our dream.
I didn't say it was our dream.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, who did it ever stand for? Whose dream was it? Fuck that dream. Burn it. Reparations.
The people who they thought it was for them, they like, man, this ain't what we signed up for.
It's been trashed.
I do think that there's going to be an increase of racial motivated violence. So I won't say civil war, but there's going, and I think that's whether he wins or loses. I think from this moment going forward, there will be an uptick in racially motivated violence across the country. Now, it may turn into a spat, a back and forth. Give an example. What happened in Portland? Mm-hmm. You had the white boy who was marching down the street with the automatic rifle.
Right.
Kills two other white boys. From the outside looking in, it's about ideology and not really about race. But the ideology is centered on race. Mm-hmm. So that's racially motivated. And then the very next week or later that week, then you had the white boy who was a Trump supporter shot dead in the street in Portland. So you had the first situation out in Wisconsin, and then the second situation in Portland. Mm-hmm. And that was back to back. Once again, because it was centered around the ideology that Trump supporters is messing with. For me, that's racially motivated. Now it's just a matter of time before they stop shooting each other, and then they convince themselves that it's a good idea to come on and shoot us.
Thing is the dude that you was talking about in Portland, the police killed him when they was trying to, bring him in or whatever the case is. The destabilizing factor that I think that could really tip things in a mass violence kind of way, and I don't think this is going to happen, and I'm not co-signing this, but if victims of police brutality kill police or hurt police in kind of like a tit for tat, you did this, so we gonna do that kind of thing, you will see an unraveling of like the societal and cultural bonds that we have. And then it could be crazy enough for some mass insurrection type stuff. But right now, the way it is, I can't really see that. But if you start like Breonna Taylor's killers, if Breonna Taylor's family or friends or close relatives or whatever took it upon themselves to attack one of those police officers, they would be destabilizing law and order, and it would just go in a bad way. I think if that became a trend, which I hope it does not.
That's not going to happen. It's more likely that civilians will attack and kill each other before someone attacks either military or law enforcement.
I would agree. I'm just saying that would be something that would cause mass disturbance, and that's about it. But hopefully we will never see that, because ain't nobody ready for that.
Do you think? I wish I knew somebody that was still alive. I wish I knew somebody right now that was alive during the '60s. Because I'm curious how what we're experiencing, how closely it relates to their experiences in the '60s. I never thought I would see what I'm seeing or even hear what I'm hearing.
I feel like it was much more buck wild back in the 60s than it is right now.
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe.
When the National Guard starts shooting people at colleges, then we can kind of start comparing it. They're not quite dead yet.
I mean, you're sending the National Guard into other people's cities to act as police. I mean,
They ain't killing nobody yet.
Snatching them up off the street.
Yeah, people are being essentially kidnapped.
I mean, they ain't dead. They might be arrested. They getting out the next day.
You know what? Have you seen anybody that's been snatched up by those folks that come out and say anything?
I mean, anything can be said on the internet. So if it's on the internet, I don't really trust it anyway. So,
That's an interesting point, though. I have not seen any of these news outlets track them down. So they grabbed you up off the street corner while you were protesting, and what happened next? I haven't seen that at all.
Exactly. That's my point around. I don't know if I feel like they're very closely related. I'm not going to say the '60s was much worse. I think the difference is it's more polarized because of people at the top, well, the person at the top, the helm, is kind of stoking the flames a little bit. Like there's been no direct rebuttal or, any hard hand around, hey man, y'all shouldn't do this. Everybody need to chill out. He ain't said that.
I got one more question for y'all, and I hate to keep dwelling on this, but we always talk about Trump, but we very rarely talk about Biden. You know what I'm saying? What is he talking about? How he feels?
He ain't the president.
He is running to be the president. Is that correct?
Yeah, but again, I don't want to talk about he is running, but we're not talking about the candidates or them running as candidates. We're talking about what 45 is doing as the person, the commander in chief.
Gotcha.
To me. Now, if we want to talk about the candidates, we can, because 45 has no platform.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is I find it very interesting that we are continuously talking about Trump, which we should, but we very rarely say, and this is why Biden would be better, because XYZ point of view, actions, behaviors, or whatever it is that he's got to say or do. His main calling card is, I'm not Trump and I'm Barack's best friend, but we've already discussed that. So,
and that's the thing that kills me, John. You still must not have read his platform. You have not read his platform. You have not listened to any of his speeches. You have not listened to not a word even Kamala Harris has said in terms of what they plan to do. And none of it has been, I was Barack's best friend.
Well, no, they're not going to say that because he's probably not Barack's best friend.
But what I'm saying is they have offered up a laundry list of things that they would try to do, propose a platform. There is a solid, cohesive, reasonable platform. So every time you get up here and say that there isn't one, I'm like, well, you don't know.
Well, no, I'm not saying that there isn't one, but we don't hear it. What is the platform?
You don't hear it because you're doing this.
I've read the platform. I just don't think that they're doing a good job of telling people about it. They're basically saying, I'm not Trump.
I think what you are missing is, you just said the dude 45 ain't a politician.
Right.
There's been no debates. There's been no opposing views of this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to talk about. Well, let's hash it out. There's been none of that because 45 is sucking the life out of this place. So there is no room to really get into in my opinion, a whole lot of what Biden is kind of talking about. He is just, to your point, he is not 45, and he does have a platform. We just ain't gonna have time to hear about it because it's September 10th. We got less than 2 months.
And here's the thing: every time he speaks, he does not say, "I'm not Trump, so vote for me." That may come out, but that's not the only thing he says. Every time he speaks, he points to a part of his platform. He was just in Michigan talking about his economic platform. Kamala talked about his platform on race. Like, they have platforms. When they talk, if you listen, you'll hear the platform. He'll tell you, my plan is this.
It's long, though.
Why is it that nobody can simply say this is the platform?
What are you looking for simple for? We have
Because
issues. We have issues that are generations deep, and you want to.
this might be true, but this is what y'all keep on overlooking. This is why Trump will continue to win, because he simplifies it for his idiotic base. Make America great again.
If you want the cliff notes, go to his website.
Right.
It's all there.
Right. Go to the website. I got you.
I don't know how else. He's talked about it. He's interviewed on it. He's put it out there in print. He's put the long version, the short version. I don't know what people are looking for.
They want it spoon-fed to them in a very small acronym.
I agree with you though, John. Like that, his party. I mean, Joe Biden's camp could do a better job of making it very simple. Like make America simple again. And that's what everybody kind of needs.
He has the charisma of a bowl of oatmeal, and he might have early onset dementia.
His simple platform then is bring back better.
Please tell me that's something.
If that is your first time hearing it, then yes, that tells me everything I need to know. You have not paid attention if that's your first time hearing it.
The acronym or
it's
the
not an acronym, it's a slogan. Bring back better.
Bring back better. I got you. Okay. Hey, good luck with that. On another note, speaking of good luck with that, one of my favorite conservative pundit type chicks, Candace, what is her name?
Owens.
Candace Owens had some words to say about celebrities and Cardi B and how the Democratic Party weaponizes celebrity to appeal to Black audiences. I don't know if we want to run the tape or how we want to do this, but I mean, I felt like she had some points. Her ultimate, I guess, goal is to try to get Black people to vote as Republicans, which is the wrong path. But all the stuff that she was saying is pretty much accurate.
What'd she say?
KG?
She was saying essentially that Cardi B did an interview or a sit down with Joe Biden. If you didn't know, also, Ice Cube is planning, they're supposed to get together too and talk about the contract with Black America. That's supposed to happen, I think, this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
I really hope that don't happen.
You said what, Joe?
I really hope that don't happen. I would be so disappointed.
No, it's happening. It's already scheduled. I don't buy. I think I'm curious about how it's going to work out. But the thing between Candace and Cardi was they had a conversation, Cardi B and Joe Biden, and Candace is like, dude, they're pimping you. Like, hopefully you see that they don't care about you or your issues. They're using you and your platform to gain popularity and gain votes. Bernie Sanders, when you talk to him, he has no idea who you are. He doesn't listen to any of your music. They know that you're popular and you can do something for them. It's only to benefit them. And so Cardi went back and forth. Cardi called her like a sellout, usual stuff. You're a sellout, you know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And eventually Candace Owens played a clip from Malcolm X having a sit down with a brother, and I forget the white moderator's name, but eventually towards the end, it's like a 45, 50-minute interview. It's really good. You can find it on, I think it's on C-SPAN. But at the end, he talked about politicians, celebrities, basketball players. He specifically named Dick Gregory and Lena Horne, specifically name dropped those folks as we're the only group of people who listen to celebrities for information and guidance. They're not leaders in the community. He called them puppets. It was a really dope interview. So I would encourage everybody to go check it out. But Candace essentially is saying Cardi B is a puppet being used by the Democrats and she's being pimped and exposed.
I hate to disagree with Malcolm X, but Dick Gregory was nobody's puppet. So he was wrong for that. I can't speak about Lena Horne or anybody else, but Dick Gregory was definitely not. Anyway, I agree with what she was saying as far as the Democrats using celebrity to appeal to young people, to appeal to different people. Every political party, every politician would love to use somebody's fan base to further their own goals. I mean, that's politics. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Republicans do it, Democrats do it, everybody does it. It's called clout chasing. I believe that's what the kids call it.
Clout chasing.
Clout,
Okay.
not cloud. I made the mistake of saying cloud chasing. That's not the correct phrase. It's clout chasing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's right. I mean, I'm old white men don't know nothing about Cardi, and they are using Cardi's platform to get their information out and their interests disseminated to a younger population of folks who historically and traditionally don't vote, trying to make voting cool again, trying to make being a progressive Democrat something that's cool again. Not that Biden is progressive, but
thank you.
Bernie is. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, that is what it is. But to then put it out there like, now here's where I'm torn. Yes, I would not go to any entertainer and say, you are my leader. Like if aliens came down and said, take me to your leader, I'm not going to take them to Cardi B. Like that's just not going to happen. Once they get a platform, oftentimes media will stick mics in their face to get them to make comments on things, but they haven't taken the time to be thoughtful enough to give a really decent response. They're going to give a response that they would give if they were sitting on the street corner. Cool, because everyone has an opinion, you know, but to give that thoughtful response that breaks down and understands both sides and then still makes a decision and then tries to encourage people to go one way or the other. I don't expect all that from them. I don't. I expect them to put that thought and that energy into their music, into their movies, into their whatever. But I do not look to them to be my leader. The thing that I find interesting, Malcolm is talking about this, and I'm thinking from the clip that I saw, and based on the way he was still clean shaven and how he's dressed, he's still in the nation at the time.
He was referencing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a lot prior to this. Again, this is towards the end of the interview, but he referenced him a lot in the beginning and middle parts of the interview.
So here's, because sometimes sometimes we're in dialogue and in conflict with ourselves. The nation was huge on taking entertainers, converting them, and then making them leaders within the nation.
Muhammad Ali.
They did it with actors. They did it with singers. They did it with Muhammad Ali. Even if they couldn't get you in the nation, Sam Cooke was very tight with Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. Yeah, like there was a history of them going. Not that they were consciously, intentionally going after entertainers, but it was a history of them utilizing entertainers' notoriety to push popularity in our communities. So for him all of a sudden to be like, you a puppet, well, is it that you got an issue with them because they are an untethered puppet, or a puppet for the white mainstream, as opposed to being a puppet for the nation? So I would be like, sounds like a contradiction to me. Yes. But Malcolm had a bunch of contradictions, so I could go on about the contradictions I saw in Malcolm.
He also spoke about, not in the clip, but he spoke about essentially creating like basically Black Wakanda, doing what the world did for Israel, doing that for Black Americans, uprooting us, giving us a pot of land in Africa, giving us all the tools, the resources to cultivate and work that land and build up our own nation. It was an interesting interview, man. Interesting interview.
Yeah. I mean, Neil, I know that you're deep into this political thing. Go ahead.
I mean, you know, I look at it like, what is wrong, and I'm just taking a different stance, what is wrong with a political party taking social influencers and trying to get their vote? Like when Obama was doing his thing, you know, Oprah was backing him, Jay was backing him, and not saying that, oh my God, I listen to Jay-Z or I listen to Oprah, but those people that they target, if we go back to Cardi has millions of followers. So not saying that what Cardi B says is what's going to be, but I think that is a strategy. I'm going to get one of the biggest influencers on a certain culture, and if they come along with me, maybe I can get half their vote. So hypothetically, let's say Cardi had 10 million followers, but people are watching and like, oh, she likes Biden. People who care nothing about voting, don't know nothing about voting, but just happen to be a groupie or a follower might be like, hey, so out of that 10 million, if Biden gets 2 million of those votes, that's still a good look. So I don't see anything wrong with soliciting big major influences. I don't really see nothing wrong with that though.
I think the difference with the Obama reference is Obama knew what those folks that he was soliciting, at least my assumption is he knew them in theory. Like he knew of Oprah. He heard Jay-Z. He listens to Jay-Z. Like he listens to the hip hop, you know, like he was connected to the culture. Cardi B and Bernie Sanders is not connected to the culture. That's my opinion. Joe Biden definitely connected to the culture. Like Joe's cool. We saw him. Like, that photo, he's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say he knows like Jay-Z's music. Like
No, I don't mean as far as necessarily knowing the artist per se, but you get a mainstream influencer who can maybe possibly support your platform or make their followers feel that you support their platform. That's a good strategy to me anyway. So I don't really see nothing wrong with it.
I feel like we always want things both ways. You know what I'm saying? If a politician or a political party or whatever that you want to say did not have that celebrity known buy-in from somebody, Black people need it to be co-signed by somebody that we know and respect and love before we're going to buy into it. That's why the Green Party is having such a difficult ass time. Until somebody we know and respected co-signs it, we're not going to buy into it. That's just the bottom line. And if the Democrats or the Republicans or whomever tried to do that or was doing it and not bringing in the so-called celebrities, the Jay-Z's, the whomever, people will be like, why are y'all ignoring us? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you pay attention to us? Why don't you, listen to us? And then when they do it, Bernie Sanders is trying to reach a whole new audience. So he wants to talk to the people with the biggest platform. He talks to Cardi B. Does he listen to Cardi B's music? Probably not. But he's trying to reach Cardi B's fans. That's what he's supposed to do. He's trying to run for president, blah, blah, blah. To me, that all makes sense. And to try to twist it and be like, they're using you. No, that's how democracy works. You're supposed to, the politicians and, candidates are supposed to try to reach the people. It's not like, no, y'all stay over here on your little side of the fence and nobody can talk to you, whatever. It's stupidity. But what do you expect from somebody like Candace Owens? Because I don't know if y'all have seen her hair. You can always tell the type of Black people that really date white people because they got like a certain kind of look, a little ashy, a little dusty, call it what you want to. I don't mean to offend anybody.
Yo, look at Keltric's face.
Go hate mail to Keltric. But it's true. If you out there and you got a white boo, you know it. Look at your hairline right now. Black men that date white women automatically shave all their facial hair. You can tell it, and then they get like bumps underneath their chin. It's very easy to see. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah, so, you being offensive. It's all right. You're offended somebody.
On that note,
views expressed by John Cook.
Straight No Chaser, the podcast. We're available on Spotify. We're available on YouTube. Available on Anchor, Facebook, and everywhere else. So, I mean,
you're doing that much better, sir. Much better.
Butchering that up.
That was a segue.
Listen. All right. So let me ask you a question. So, what has come to me is a situation, a little situation. So imagine this, and the person who
I'm out, Rob.
The person. Okay.
We gotta get an update on the last one we did.
Huh?
No feedback from the last one.
I am not soliciting feedback. I don't. I said that the last 2 times y'all asked for it.
He really did.
Last question. I thought y'all were picking this up in the last go round.
But Keltric love his follow-ups. He be like, what's going on?
No.
Keltric needs closure.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
Closure's overrated for me.
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
It does not exist.
All right. So the person who has brought this to my attention does listen to the show. So I don't know if she will offer up feedback. I will keep my ears open, and if she does, if she's listening, feel free to let me know how you feel about the situation. So she's dating a dude. Dating may be a strong word, but they are dealing with each other. She ends up visiting the crib, and she brings some of her belongings so that she can be comfortable at the crib. You know how people bring a little a mug so that they have their favorite thing to make their cocoa or their tea, and you know sisters be drinking tea like a mug. So she got their little mug, got their little throw, maybe a sweater and a hoodie. Bring their stuff because they want to get comfortable. I don't know if they want to get comfortable or they marking their territory because it ain't a permanent thing. But either which way, sis, I don't know if he's marking your territory, but you told me you wanted to be comfortable. So you bring your stuff for comfortability purposes. So now you chilling. There's no development. There's no traction in the relationship. It's stagnant. And they decide to be like, it was cool, but it ain't what it is. But she ain't come get her stuff. So now it is her expectation that he packs up the stuff and takes it to her crib. And I'm thinking whether it's around the corner or in the next city or the next state, I don't know what I don't know what people's gas look like. I don't know if his car's working. I don't know if we got to hop on Metro. You know, coronavirus is out there. But she's saying, I want my stuff. So she's like, am I wrong for expecting him to pack that stuff up and bring it to me?
So wait a minute. They were in a relationship or some kind of situation, entanglement or what have you.
Situationship.
So situationship. She left her mug or whatever.
Hoodie, mug. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And she left it there and she wants him to bring it to her.
Yes.
And he don't want to do that because it's too far away.
I'm assuming, because she hasn't told me what's going on in his mind. I'm assuming he's thinking, I didn't bring it to my house. Why should I have to bring it to you?
For me, how did they end? Did they end on amicable terms?
Clearly, they're not that amicable if you don't want to bring stuff to her crib.
Oh, they'll be on the front stoop. I heard a story like that.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. Pack it all up, put it out front.
Hey,
I just heard a story like that before.
Come by and get your stuff.
tell that story, Neil.
Huh?
Tell that story that you heard.
Oh, I mean, it was just quick. A homie I knew, he was, talking to a shorty, I think back in the days when we was all at HU. Real cool. He thought, I guess, it was going to work out well. But, pretty much as sometimes when you go in relationships, people try to change you, and if you're not going in the same direction, you going one way, you going the next.
Right. They want you to wear khakis and you want to wear a jean.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think the brother was just a laid-back brother, just off some chill vibe, and the lady wanted him to wear bow ties and suspenders, and it's like, what Howard student is going to wear that? So they just ended, and, she was like, I need my stuff, and he said, come get it. And it was on the stoop.
Right.
Just packed it up. Don't ring the bell. Don't call me. Don't nothing. Just come and get it.
But the bad thing about it, though, she did hate all his homies for a long-ass time, though. That was crazy. But that ain't nothing to do with it. But to go back to your story.
She didn't hate me.
Hey.
I didn't have nothing to do with that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. As far as what you're talking about, Rob, I mean, I agree with Neil, actually. Like, after, if I understood you correctly, she left her stuff over there. She wants him to bring it to her. If he don't want to bring it, then, I mean, then he leaves it. And he just says, hey, come get it. To me, I mean, it seems pretty cut and dry, unless, he's going to bring it to her. She going to come get it. Maybe he is afraid, or maybe she does not want to come back over to his house because she don't necessarily want to be in the house and things might happen, blase skippy. I mean, to me, if you leave your stuff someplace, it's the person whose house it's in. So
I mean, I look at it like this, dog. It's some bullshit. If we broke up, whether we amicable or not, it's your shit. If we along any type of respectful lines, we can either meet up halfway. I'll give you your shit. I'll give you give me my shit, whatever the case may be. But if we can't come to an agreement, I guess you really don't want it. That should have been a goodwill. Bye.
Cade, you got any response for that?
I mean, this ain't even really like a real question. I can't believe this is a real situation. Just put it in the mail and send it off. The only thing is that I feel like people are overthinking this. You ain't even got to put a return address on it. Just send it to them. Like it's simple. This is This is a non-conversation, in my opinion. Like this is dumb.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with me just putting stuff in a bag,
Right.
driving it to the crib, and just be like, boom. If we in the same town, especially boom. I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's done with. It's over. You don't gotta ask me for nothing. And she keeps texting this dude, and I told her stop texting this dude. He hasn't responded to my text. Stop texting him. If he wants to come and bring it to you, he will. I don't think anything's wrong with him just dropping it off. I also don't think there's anything wrong with her just getting in her car and going and getting it. Just are you trying to show him something? Like, I'll show you. You're gonna get that stuff to me. I'm gonna make you bring it to me. No, ain't nothing wrong with just go on and get your stuff.
So the item that she left over there, was it some drawers?
She did not say that they were drawers.
Because that's the I'm marking my territory item of being left, and they'll be like hid, or so I've heard. I don't know for a fact, but like hid under the bed, stuff behind something.
She did not share with me that they were her drawers.
If so, that's kind of would explain everything. Because I mean, why would you want to travel for some underwear? I mean, whatever.
If it's yours and you want it, go get it.
It sounds like an excuse,
right? And that's what it is, I think.
Right.
But an excuse for what, though?
Maybe they have some bomb sex. Who knows?
She wants to see him one more time. Go one more ride in the hay.
He is fumbling the bag immensely then, because she's basically saying, "Come to my house and give me my stuff." But whatever.
Yeah, I just, if I was in the situation and the stuff was at my crib, like, y'all know I can be evil sometimes. So I would just be like, I ain't got it. Stop texting me. I don't have it. I don't know where it is.
Nah, but for real though, we ain't gonna dwell on it too much. But I do agree with Keltric. It is an easy fix. Put the shit in the mail. Drop it in the mailbox. Boom, you got it.
That postage costs more than gas.
Listen.
So I would, if that's the case, I would just drive and drop it off.
That's more time.
Spend the money to put it in. No.
My thing is, why can't she come get it?
That's a good question.
Whatever.
And that's a question I've asked.
It's very interesting.
We'll see how this plays out. Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see if she's listening. I think she's gonna listen. I'm certain she is, because she listens almost.
Whoever is listening, please give us some feedback, because Keltric really wants some closure. So please.
Right. Well, I mean, fellas.
I mean, wait a minute. If y'all listening to this, if y'all got situations y'all want us to respond to, send them in to us.
Oh, word. Please do.
Down for that.
Because it is funny.
We've actually asked the question.
It will remain in confidence. We're not going to tell nobody, no identifying characteristics, none of that. So,
you're going to get 4 honest points of view. Trust me. You will get some feedback.
Don't nobody trust what we got to say.
Well, I mean,
you got the story wrong, though. I heard the one story around somebody sent some feedback you sent the screenshot of it in the Facebook chat that we got a story wrong, but they didn't tell us the full details of what story we got incorrect.
I forgot what you was talking about. I remember vaguely what you were saying, but I can't remember what the story was.
You sent it to us. I don't want to say the person's name.
No, that wasn't the advice piece. That was when we were talking about old dude, tall guy car reviews. Like we were just wrong in our unpacking of that story. That's all. Okay. Someone who knows him, works with him, knows the situation. She just said she enjoyed the banter, but she said we were all wrong on that.
Oh, okay.
Well, there it is.
Well, fellas, I mean, that's the last thing. We got any last words for the people before we sign off here? Stuff that you want people to watch or know or read or pay attention to? Nothing. Fuck cancer. Straight No Chaser, the podcast.
November 3rd. November 3rd. It'll be before you know it.
3rd.
Other than that, no.
And to bring back a great phrase, Keltric, reduce. You say it. I want to mess up your slogan. Reduce, I do like it.
Reuse, recycle. And listen, in California, those wildfires, man. Can you believe one of them jokers was started because of gender reveal?
Yeah, gender reveal. That was crazy. Fireworks.
Can you imagine the bill they gonna get from that?
Ridiculous.
There's nothing that them people can do. I mean, it is what it is. For me, I want people to watch Lovecraft Country and watch Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Yes.
So strike first, strike hard, no mercy. That's my new slogan.
Yeah.
Peace.
And on that note, Straight No Chaser, the podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Well, on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. What else? That's it. Everything. Everything that a podcast is, we out there.
All right, y'all.
Hey, Chew. You know.
Peace.
All right. There you have it.
And on that note, we're going to say peace out, God bless, and good night.
Straight, no chaser.